racing fans, let me introduce you to the Lady in Black, live tonight on LSRTV from Darlington, South Carolina at a virtual Darlington Speedway. It is round 3 on the RodddCar Truck Tour, taking on the asphalt tonight for the Southern 200. 2 races down, still 13 to go into tonight's race in this championship, but slowly and surely we're finding our way into the middle portion of this and starting to create a championship battle. And tonight things don't get any easier at the track deemed too tough to tame, if not one of, maybe the toughest track we're going to see all season long. Do want to welcome you into the virtual LSRTV broadcast booth alongside of myself, Evan Pasoko, joined by Andy Kessler and our driver analyst Josh Ball. As always, our executive producer down in the holler pushing buttons, Laura Lawson. Guys, first off, welcome back. Labor Day off week for a lot of things racing, but the trucks have been off for a little bit of time. We saw some IROC action last time we were here on our Friday night doubleheaders. So it's time to get back into the truck swing of things at Andy. Darlington, quite an abrupt place to get back at it after a couple of weeks off for these drivers. They're going to have to be up and on the wheel for all 91 laps tonight if they want to make it to the end of this one.
I hope they've been practicing. They've had plenty of time to do it. They don't call it too tough to tame for just jokes. This place is real tough to race around. You got a real weird, odd line, I should say. You're up against the wall all the way around this track. Turn 1 and 2 is a long sweeping turn. Then you into turn 3 and 4, it's a real tight, narrow turn, but you're still up against the wall. So some interesting things. It's going to be real tough to pass people on the bottom side. Trucks get real loose here, and it's real tight coming off these corners. So some 2 wide races is going to be some fun things to watch here tonight.
And they're going to be 2 wide on the start, Josh. I assume they don't really want to be 2 wide in the corner, though. We saw some action here on LSRTV from Darlington just a couple of weeks ago with the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series on Monday nights. That was exciting. Tonight, we expect to be no difference. The truck's one of the more fun oval cars on the sim, and right now you're looking at a field of about 24 cars at Darlington. Some of these guys might try to get a little bit brave if they don't get the, I guess, correlating starting spot where they would like. And again, Darlington, too tough to tame. You look at the length of this race being 91 laps, going to be just about 125 miles from start to finish in this event. How hard is it for a driver to pace themselves at a track like this? I guess to an extent you have to, or you're going to end up in the wall. But as well, I guess you have to strike a good balance because it is tough to get around this place.
Yeah, definitely, especially with the new track model. You know, we did a couple of tests earlier this week, and I talked to some of the guys that were out there, and they said the high line is definitely the preferred line going through 3 and 4, and 1 and 2, you know, you want to stay on the bottom and then go high off the corner. I spoke with a couple of the guys before the race, and they're saying it's pretty hard to pass here, very hard. You know, as soon as you get down near that dotted white line, you get really tight and want to push up towards the wall. So definitely expect to see some exciting racing, but also might be a couple cautions here and there if we don't, the drivers aren't able to adapt to the track conditions.
In Darlington Raceway, a track that comes in at 1.366 miles, so that's going to put us into the group qualifier session as far as qualifying and setting the grid for this evening Southern 200. So 5 minutes of open qualifying on the board right now. That means that everybody is going to pretty much go out there and rush turn 1, and it's a free-for-all for the next 3 minutes and 55 seconds as everybody tries to get the pole. That means that somebody wrecking in front of you is going to mess with your lap. The draft might play a little bit of a factor into all of that as well. But, Andy, something that Josh just touched on there is this is a completely different sim than what it was when these guys were racing last time. Not only is there a new tire model on these race cars as well, a couple of housekeeping things as well going on throughout the sim, but these are now dynamic racetracks, which as of a couple of days ago, sim racing has completely changed, and there's still a whole lot to learn about how the rubbering into the racetrack and the tire temperatures as far as in correlation to how hot this racetrack is going to be as these trucks run on it throughout the night. There's still a lot of unknowns, but it's definitely been a fun talking point the last couple of days.
Oh, without a doubt, Evan. And I had an opportunity to race some races. We tried some long things, and long races and such, and just the track rubbering up, the different levels of grip changing, and it's definitely something different. I mean, 91 laps, it might be a little short for the standards of this build to actually see that top line really start to turn black towards the end of the race, but we might see it. It all depends on how they set the room up, but yeah, there's definitely some interesting changes. I like the changes. I think it's great as far as iRacing trying to expand and upgrade this service. So it's going to be interesting to see the next few weeks and how these guys set the rooms up, because they can do it all kinds of different ways, I guess, as far as the percentage of the tire wear or the percentage of the track wear. So we'll definitely be watching for that as we move along here in the coming weeks.
And again, the way this series runs, it is a 15-race championship. Tonight, race number 3. In theory, these first 3 weeks could not even count towards your point tally. There are 3 drop weeks for your worst finishes throughout the season. So, again, the season's still very young, but starting to get into the bulk of the schedule here very shortly. These trucks aren't going to be running with one quick repair, and I have a feeling that a lot of drivers may have to use that at some point. They're also running with a 70% fuel cell, and this race is capped at a 65-minute time cap. Take a look at last week's results, though, from 2 weeks ago for the Tight Lines 200 at Atlanta. Shane McEachin won that race over Toppaseth, the Birch, who led 14 laps. Christian Peterson, Rodney Watford, and Mark Jorgensen Jr. come home with the top 5 in that one. So you look at the updated championship standings here, Josh. It's Seth the Merchant up top. He's trailed by Ryan Pyland in second and Shane McEachin in third. Both Pyland and McEachin, though, already have wins on the year. Seth the Merchant yet to do so. Interesting to see, and albeit it is early on, but it shows you that consistency, a big part of this truck series, something that is not going to be talked about here as we will later on Friday nights when we see you on track, is you guys have to worry about in the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series winning to get into that chase. Here's not the thing. You're going all 15 weeks, and that's why consistency is very, very important.
Yeah, definitely. You're right, Evan. Consistency is very important in the truck series this season. It's the first season for the trucks this year, so everything's different. We're on open setups versus fixed setups in the iSuperspeedway, like what you had talked about. So, consistency, just as you said, it's very big. Now, we're looking at the practice times, and Handwright Motorsports sits 1-2 in practice, and Wicked Motorsports was right behind them with Christian Peterson and Seth the Merchant in 4th and 5th. So, obviously, a couple of these teams have definitely figured it out this week. Just to see, we're just got to wait and see how long their tires hold up, if they're able to keep it off the wall, stay out of trouble, and I think it'll be a great night tonight.
Well, not long until we get the Southern 200 underway. We're going to throw things down now trackside for the opening ceremonies and the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave
And a big thank you to Jaden Berkey for the singing of our national anthem. Let's rack 'em and stack 'em and let you know where they all line up for the Southern 200. The field is on the grid behind the American Childhood Cancer Organization Ford Mustang pace car. Pole position in this one goes to the 71 Skyline Motorsport Chevrolet. Christian Peterson with a 27.431 will lead the field to the green flag. Mark Jorgensen Jr. get to sit on the outside of the front row. The 88 starts in second. Josh Hanner will start for the inside of row 2 in third spot. Seth the Merchant Championship leader on the outside in fourth, and P5 to the 23 of Rod Flag.
The number 1 of Chris Pacini is going to roll off 6th. 7th is going to be the 12 of Corey Henry. Anthony Yankello will start in the 79 will start 8th. 9th will be the 3 truck, I should say, of Brandon Chaburko, and Rodney Woodford in the 7 will start 10th.
Rolling out 11th is Ryan Pilon in the number 41. Rolling out 12th will be Matt Quick in the 89 Chevy. 13th, Donnie Garitano in the number 2 truck. 14th, the 088 of Kent Connolly, and on the inside of row 15th will be Shane McKeechin, driving number 28.
16th position going to be the 78 of Tony Fedd. Alex Gore in 17th and 18th spot outside of the 9 is the 83 Ramon Evans. Josue Ramirez 19th and 20th is Rod Minton.
Sean Turner's going to start 21st, while Ray Rittner start 22nd. 23rd will be Daniel Ferguson, and shotgun on the field tonight in the 18 truck is Jimmy Todd.
Pacer going to get down and out of the way very early here in 3 and 4 at Darlington Raceway. We're glad to have you with us on LSRTV. Round 3 of the RodDCar Truck Tour getting set to go underway. Christian Peterson in control as the pace car dives down to the safety of pit road. 7-1 holds the field at bay. At a quarter number 4, getting set to get the Southern 200 underway. Green flag flies, underway we go across the start-finish line, and a dead heat between the top 2. Nobody's spreading out inside the top 5, top 6 down to 1 and 2. Side by side for the race lead. Bottom part of the racetrack, the place to be for now. Looks like the 71 trying to get clear. He'll do it at a 2.
Peterson clears him now, and now a crossover move by Jorgensen. Looked into the inside, not going to make it happen. Still single file. Now the top 3 guys starting to spread out a little bit off of the fourth car. That fourth car in line, that's number 24. Josh Hanner off of turn number 4, though. Single file. Field's starting to spread out now as we complete lap number 1.
Josh, I wasn't surprised at all to see Mark Jorgensen Jr. immediately look to the inside of Christian Peterson, trying to get a spot back. How important is it to get as many spots as you can on these restarts? Because I'm sure it's going to be a lot harder once everybody gets spread out to complete a pass.
Oh, definitely, Evan. You know, as we talked earlier in pre-race, a lot of the guys were saying it's definitely going to be hard to pass tonight. So, you know, getting as many spots on these restarts as you can is very big. You know, if you can gain 3 or 4 during the right after the caution or the start of the race, it's going to be, you know, 10, 15, 20 laps to get that during the green flag.
We saw Matt Quick slow on the apron on that opening lap. He got a little bit sideways at turn 2, was down on the apron. He falls to 24th after starting inside the top 12, and he sits about 10 seconds back from your race leaders. Things up front, though, slowly starting to get spread out. Peterson, Jorgensen, the top 2 cars on track, separated by less than 0.2 of a second. 5th on back, though, you're looking at 1+ seconds off of the race lead. Good fight going on just inside of the top 10. Couple of guys that were going at it just a little bit. Anthony Yankello, Ryan Pilon, they get it all sorted out and such. But already drivers on the move in this race, both forwards and backwards. Rodney Wofford, he'll go up 1 spot. The number 7 car able to make a move on the Anthony Yankello. He goes to 9th position, and it looks like Wofford keeping an eye on Corey Henry would become a battle for 8th.
It does look like a good battle shaping up right now as they go into turn number 1. That's Rodney Warford in the 7 truck right now, coming off of turn number 2. Turn 2 is a tough place here tonight, Evan. That corner really almost sticks out at you real quick, again. If you're not paying attention, we might see a lot of guys getting their Darlington stripe there off of turn number 2. But yeah, great job by all these guys so far. Clean and green here in the early stages. Everybody single file, just trying to. This is one of those places you really got to race the track, not the competitors.
So far this, and again, only beat round 3, but the longest race that we've seen all year. Hold on, battle for the race lead, and it's not going to be much of a battle. The 88 looks to the inside. Josh, it looked like Jorgensen just let off the gas, or went to the inside, rather. Peterson let off the gas on the outside and let him go. Really didn't want to fight for it. The Tracker Boat Chevy leads that time by.
Yeah, definitely. Mark said he had a really fast truck before the beginning of the race. He's definitely set it for the short runs, so we'll be looking to see and how his truck handles through the rest of the run. And I do know his teammate Josh Hanner is set up for the long run. So, you know, we were doing some practicing earlier in the week, and Hanner came on after like 5 to 10 laps. So it'll be interesting to see what these guys set their trucks up for, because we may have, you know, long green flags or cautions right away. Obviously, so far it looks like pretty green.
I always find it funny, Andy, because you go to racetracks like Darlington, some of the other more difficult racetracks where you figure it's a harder track to drive, you're going to get more cautions. But to an extent, the harder the racetrack, the more difficult it is for somebody to start fighting with another truck, because you're racing against the racetrack more in of itself, as opposed to if you go to a racetrack like Charlotte, which for the most part is rather easy to navigate. We'll be at CMS next week for the Truck Tour Series again. So you go there, the track's a little bit easier to drive, so these guys can do a little bit more as far as driver on driver. Darlington, by no means anywhere near a road course, but almost more of a road course mentality, as opposed to you're racing the racetrack more than the guys around you.
Yeah, if you got a guy coming up on you and he's faster than you, just let him go. You're only going to cause yourself more problems if you try to hold the guy up. We've seen it a couple times here early on. We just saw it a moment ago with Corey Henry and Rodney Wolford battling it out. Wasn't much of a battle, just like we saw for the race lead a moment ago. That guy's got to run. Just let him have it, because you really, like I said, it's almost like a one-groove racetrack here. You really got to, if you get out of that sequence or out of that groove, you can really cause yourself some problems through these corners. So your best bet is if the guy's got to run, just let him go. You know, obviously towards the end of the race, that's a different story. But for now, for the time being, these early laps, you definitely want to give more than take.
And a battle is going on throughout the field. Take a look at the 36, that is. That's Sean Turner in the John Deere Tractors machine. That Toyota Tundra just passed about 2 trucks and then just lost about 2 more. And in front of him, the 9 car of Alex Gore, he puts that Chevrolet to the inside of the racetrack, trying to make a move on a 75 of Josue Ramirez. He won't be able to do it. Ramirez is going to be able to hold off at the outside. But that Beechcraft machine just lost 3 spots a lap before, and now the 75 sideways. He'll hang on to it again, and Sean Turner now trying to pass the 75. The 75 passed when he did that same thing just a lap ago, so it's a constant back and forth. You make a pass, but might get a little bit too overzealous, and then you lose a spot. Things very fluid here as this battle goes pretty much for 16th position all the way through 19th and 20th. 5 trucks within half a second.
Yeah, Evan, I've been keeping up with the 32 of Seth the Merchant on points later right now, and he looks like he is having his hands full. I get to see him in the truck every time he comes by, and his hands are all over the place in turn 1 and 2 sideways. He's hit the wall like 3 or 4 times already. He's got some pretty significant damage on the right side of his truck, and he is just sideways again coming off a 2, and he's getting passed by truck after truck. This is about the fourth truck in the last 3 laps.
And you see down in 3 and 4, that's a lot less of a radius. And normally, if your truck's going to be tight, it's going to be a little bit tighter. But he got way sideways that time before, and you're not kidding. The 23 of Rod Flag opens up the door. He'll bring lots of friends with him. Rodney Wofford and Corey Henry going to be the 3 trucks that get around Rod Flag. 1 and 2 typically a little bit looser than what you would expect in 3 and 4. You take a look on board with the 32, and you'll hear he's got to play with the throttle, using that throttle to an extent to turn this truck around the corner. And for a driver that was 4th fastest in practice, qualified in 4th, but as you had alluded to there, Josh, and just lost 3 more, now falling to 9th spot on track. Championship leader not having all that fun of a time here with the Lady in Black, just now 15 laps into this race, really trying to keep that thing underneath them. Sideways again, and a big run from Ryan Pyland going to make a move. DeMerchant may fall to 10th.
Yeah, Pyland trying to make the move right now around Seth the Merchant. It's one of the places you got to really hang on to it now. Now at this place, he's loose again off of turn number 4. Almost loose. He's doing a great job hanging on to that thing, I'll tell you that. That's a good piece of driving right there by the points leader. But Ryan Pyland, who won the season opener this season at Daytona. Oh now here we go. DeMerchant now gets into the wall, gets sideways. He actually gets into the door of Ryan Pyland, able to hang with it. It looks like he's slow, though, down the backstretch. Maybe coming into pits at this point. I think he's really upset those tires.
He got into the fence, that's the Darlington stripe, but he got sideways and came down, as you said, into Ryan Pyland, and now just hanging on for dear life. And the Rockstar Energy Chevrolet, Seth the Merchant, really trying to keep the back end of that truck underneath him, and he is continuing to struggle to do so. He'll fall to 11th. Pyland does get a little bit of damage to that. You'll see the replay right now. The Haas Automation Chevy Ryan Pyland started 11th, now 9th, as he puts a pass on Anthony Ancallo. That doesn't look like that number 41 truck is all that badly hurt. DeMerchant's truck, though, bad handling, adds some damage and some heated tires into the equation, and it's not fudded, Josh. You know, we talked about the series rules and stuff. This is an open setup series. That was a big discussion coming into the start of this. The Cup guys that we're going to see, and we'll see you on track as well with the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series. That's going to be part 2 of our doubleheader here tonight on LSRTV. It's a fixed setup series. Here, it's open set, so you can have guys, maybe like a Seth the Merchant, high-end points, and maybe he has fast race trucks because that team, the Wicked Autosports crew, like to push the envelope, which is why you'll see his truck ride completely differently than somebody else's, and he'll now be forced down at the pit lane, sliding to pit road and actually go around, and he just avoids those tire barriers, nearly goes into the sand barrels, if not making contact. He'll come down pit road. Not only did that entry hurt him at a lot of time, but pitting on lap 19 hurt him a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Wow, that was a great save, not hitting those barriers there. You know, a lot of people, you know, back and forth throughout the week, as you see the replay going up here, you know, a lot of people projected this is going to be a lot of wrecks tonight. So they were doing a lot of short runs, you know, projecting your truck to do good on the short runs, whereas a lot of people like Josh Hanner, which is coming up through the field right now, getting close to the lead, he made it more on the long runs. Now, 18 is in the wall off of turn number 3 as he goes by the leaders right here. Back to you, Evan.
And he slowed down the front straightaway. Jimmy Todd started this race 24th, had at that point before the contact went up 8 spots, but he was on the outside and he got put in the wall, guys. The 89 of Matt Quick went to his inside. I said they probably don't want to do too wide. 89 slides up, which is what you expect. The 89 did exactly what that truck would do if there wasn't a truck up there. It's very hard, and you just say, okay, somebody's not up on my high side, so I'm not going to slide up to the wall. If they could decide that, they wouldn't slide up into the wall in the first place. His truck get a little bit tight, and he puts Jimmy Todd in the fence in that Interstate Batteries Toyota. A little bit beaten up on both sides of that truck, and most importantly, he falls back down to 21st, and he does lose his lead lap status.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was talking about before, that this track's really a one-groove racetrack, and that's why, you know, knowing someone's out there, you got to really time your passes at a good, you know, you got to time them correctly at good times, exit of the corners, down the straightaways. You just got to, as a driver, it's a tough place because what he did was actually the line you want to run. You're going to enter low and drift up to the wall, and that's the fast way around this place. So, not faulting anyone really for what happened, but that was just, you know, a product of this racetrack. And, you know, you learn something by it each time. And I think these guys right there maybe learned something. Maybe next time let them go and they won't have a problem like that.
Ramon Evans going to drop to the inside of the racetrack, the driver of the 83, now 3 laps down at Darlington. Started 18th, he's 23rd right now. He goes to the bottom to get well and out of the way of your race leader. The 88, look at that, the 78 checkup in front of your race leader, trying to get out of the way was that 78 machine of Tony Fenn, but you catch somebody at the wrong spot, it's very difficult to get out of the way. Now trouble down the back, the 36, Sean Turner, hard into the outside wall. The John Deere Toyota, hard into the inside wall as well, and he's limping that truck down to the pit lane.
Yeah, it looked like a pretty hard hit. He's definitely in pit road right now. Back to the lead, though. Looks like what I was saying earlier. Josh Hanner on that long run. He has caught Mark Jorgensen and looks like he's about to battle for the lead with him going into 3.
The 88 has led this race about since lap number 6. Christian Peterson started on pole, led the first 5 laps, gave it up very easily once the Tracker Boat Chevrolet got to the back bumper. Peterson maybe trying to conserve those tires a little bit for the longer run and all of this. And Josh Hanner, who started this race in 3rd, runs 2nd right now, but again, just 1/10 of a second off the 88. He has been as far back as about a second from the race lead. Made quick work of Christian Peterson. Now he's catching Jorgensen. You have to be careful, though, because, Andy, you see that 9 just in front of these guys, Alex Gore. That machine going to try to get out of the way, but much like Tony Fenn at 78 we saw about 2 laps ago, you want to get out of the way of the race leader, but if they catch you on corner exit, there's not much you can do. So Josh Hanner may even try to look at some lap cars to maybe use as a pick on his way around Mark Jorgensen, but both these drivers need to know what's going on in front of them if they want to race for the race lead, right on each other's bumper at it too.
That's right. He's all over the back bumper now, looking to the inside. That's the 24 in the Pepsi machine. But look at Jorgensen and let him go right there. Smart move. Doesn't want to get put in the fence.
Oh, he's in the fence.
Oh, yeah. Tanner got the fence. He
overdrove
overdrove it down the entry.
Josh Hanner to the inside of the racetrack. 88 let him go, and I'll tell you what, that was a little bit more than a stripe. He hit the fence pretty hard down in corners 3 and 4, and he'll just about put it into the safer barrier again. That time, though, he'll avoid contact. The 88 had gone back to the inside, and the run on the outside of the quarter number 2 going to put Josh Hanner back to the top spot in this race. But I'll tell you what, these cars are hard enough to handle around here alone. Now you add some right side damage into the equation. Probably not going to make things any easier. And again, that time at a 4, a close call with that 24. Again, it's going to allow Jorgensen to get that big run to the back bumper and try to close in and re-challenge for the top spot. This bringing, though, that 32 of Seth the Merchant you see just behind him back into the conversation. The 32 was forced again down pit road at lap number 19, so just about 11 laps ago. Jorgensen actually going to try to get out of his way, and as the Tracker Boat Chevy into the outside wall, that kills his momentum. Seth trying to get 1 lap back the old school way, and I don't imagine he'll have too many difficulties getting around the 24 as he goes to the inside on those fresher tires, but both of your race leaders having trouble keeping it out of the fence.
Yeah, I've been watching Mark Jorgensen for the past 10 to 15 laps, and he's hit the wall a couple times. Not as hard as Josh Hanner did just there, but obviously, as you can see there, you know, the lap times from the 32 just getting new tires to passing the 24 significant. He's already got almost a second on the 24.
Hearing a little bit of contact back in the pack, the 088 Tide Chevy, Kent Connolly driving through, looks like turns 3 and 4. The 92 gets in the wall in front of him, so that's Rod Minton. And then Kent Connolly as well, trying to check things up. He gets into the fence as well. That's going to slow him down, but still 11th on the racetrack. That's up 3 spots from where he was at the start of this race. Josh Hanner's going to come by, and this time by the start-finish line. 60 laps to go at Darlington in the Southern 200. Things still not really clean, but green nonetheless, still in the lady in black from the start of this race. Josh Hanner trying to lead things to the first set of pit stops, not all that far away. We'll take a quick moment, step away, come right back on to LSRTV. You're watching the RodddCarr Truck Tour Season 1 Championship from Darlington Raceway, the Southern 200. Josh Hanner leads.
While lions are notorious for their voracious appetites, they spend a great deal of time feeding other creatures. In fact, lions will take great care to ensure there's plenty to go around. As you can see, they keep giving with utter ferocity. Bravo, lions, and bon appetit. Do good, be a lion.
Back live at the virtual Darlington Raceway in pit stops in full force. Corey Henry, the number 12 car, the race lead right now. The AMD Chevrolet leads after starting this race in 7th. He and just Shane McEachin, the only drivers left on the lead lap. But I'll tell you what, guys, some exciting things on pit road for some of the top runners as well. And Josh, the 88 machine got into it a little bit on pit road, but it looks like Jorgensen took his one quick fix to get back out there.
Yeah, the 88 and 088 kind of got into each other going into pit road, and then they had some choice words for each other afterwards. But
36, Sean Turner into the outside wall and around. Big trouble for the John Deere machine. Guys, not the first time we've seen this tonight. He already has had troubles at a turn 2, and it happens again to him, and he got stuck in the outside wall. He jerks that thing off the wall because the truck really likes to get sucked into the outside wall. When he does that, the car breaks loose. It spins all the way around again, and now spinning into the water barrels on the entrance to pit road. He'll get it down. Somehow no caution as it all happened on the apron.
Yeah, he was low enough. The race control was able to let this thing stay green, which is a good thing. These competitors have been green all the way through this race, but it's definitely not had its lack of drama here. Guys hitting in the wall, getting their Darlington stripes. Right there, we just saw it there. Hit the wall pretty hard. And like you said, sometimes these cars, trucks, they really get locked into that wall. So, yeah, he jerked it off the wall, ended up spinning it out. Luckily, no other cars were collected.
And another truck into the outside wall. That time was your race leader, Corey Henry, who's staying out right now. And Josh, right now we're working lap 42 of 91. We're about 3.5 laps away from halfway. If Corey Henry could make it to halfway, you might think he's able to make it on one stop, but it seems like everybody going for a 2-stop strategy and pitting every 30 laps or so to cut this race in third. So if the 12 can make it, he's going to be slower than the guys that obviously are going to get 2 more sets of fresh tires as opposed to the 12 just getting 1 set halfway through. But they're also going to have to pit twice. So interesting call to see if this AMD machine can make it to halfway and if that is a viable option for him. Trouble right behind him, 75, sideways and all the way around just about. Caution flag is now out. Josue Ramirez sideways. Car essentially comes to a complete stop down the back straightaway, and throw that strategy out the window because there's the yellow.
I'll tell you what, Evan, that is going to screw some people up, though. There is literally 2 cars on the lead lap currently. That is Corey Henry and Shane McEachin. Everybody on from 3rd back to 14th is 1 lap down, and 15th to 18th are 2 laps down. So that's definitely going to be some... You're going to have to take some waiver rounds, not going to be able to get some tires, so that should be very interesting coming to the pit stops here.
Yeah, Corey Henry, Shane McEachin, the only 2 trucks on the lead lap. If both of them pit, it's going to give positions 3rd through 14th a wave by. Assuming none of those drivers come down pit road, Corey Henry's going to come down the pit lane. He will come down for service and is going to obviously give up the top spot. Shane McEachin, who started this race in 15th, was 28 seconds behind your race leader, so he's still just trying to catch up. Just now entering turn number 3, the 28 car is going to be coming down pit road, and that's going to allow the likes of Peterson, Chaburko, Hainer, and company to get the wave by, if not as well have the quick advantage right now that race control is going to give them of actually physically waving the by the pace car, Andy. So they're not going to have to wait for the one to go, which means that they would have the opportunity to come down and get service. Their service is going to come after your top 2, Henry and McEachin, get service, but nonetheless, you're back on the lead lap. You got fresh tires.
Yep, lucky break for those guys. The guys that were 1 lap down, so they'll get back on the lead lap. But good strategy by Corey Henry. He's going to end up, I believe, leading this thing when it goes back to green. So great job by him staying out. He may not have won on the strategy of the 1-stop race, but he definitely did a great job by keeping himself out front, leading some laps, and now he'll find himself in the top spot when we get back to racing.
So everybody continuing to wave on by the pace car. Not surprisingly, Corey Henry, Shane McEachin, the pit stop call from them is going to be 4 tires and Sunoco race fuel. Waved around the pace car, Daniel Ferguson. Right now waiting for his send around, although that driver does sit 2 laps at a negative, so he may not get a wave around immediately. Another driver out there with damage, Ramon Evans, the 83 machine. Talked about that truck a little bit early on, the Borla Exhaust Toyota. He has ended up into the fence, and if not another race car, front end damage on that car is going to obviously put his truck multiple laps down, and he'll drop to the apron here, try to get back around. But there's a lot of trucks with damage. Sometimes if your car's a little bit loose and you hit the wall, it tightens it up. That might be good for some. If you hit it might loosen the car up, might be very bad for others. But the damage is going to play, to an extent, Josh, I would feel, a part in this race. Now at the end, you may see a truck up there with some damage. I mean, Corey Henry has right front damage. He's leading this race right now. But the likes of Hanner, Jorgensen, Wofford, they're not all going to have a clean race truck. So it is a small factor, I guess, but these trucks can take a little bit of damage without really starting to succumb to that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, you saw the 24 hit the wall pretty hard in turn 3 and 4 earlier, but he was still able to keep it up there in first and second place before he made his pit stop. So, you know, I think the damage plays a little bit, but this is Darlington. Obviously, everybody's going to hit the wall, no matter if you're first or last. So I think it's going to come down to tires, Evan. Really, I mean, they're going to have enough fuel to get to the end of the race. As long as everybody stays on this this caution here, I think everybody's going to make it to the end. It's just going to be who has the right amount of tires and the right amount of setup to make it there.
Waiting on lights on the pace car to be extinguished, and they do so around the racetrack as well. So we're going to go back at this race. Green flag racing, lap 47. Going to go into the books when we do so on this 91-lap affair, which means we're past the halfway mark just as of 2 laps to go, and 16 drivers sit on the lead lap. Front row going to be Corey Henry, Christian Peterson. How does all of this work out in their favor? Peterson again led the first 5 laps off of the first drop of the green flag. Wasn't able to hang on before falling to third. What can he do on the front row? Jorgensen, Chaburko, they're on the second row. Josh Hanner up inside the top 5 as well, Andy.
Yeah, those guys doing a great job getting back into this thing. Jorgensen having some issues on pit road when he was making his pit stop, so he's back up there. All these guys, fresh tires, though. We're looking for some good racing here on the restart.
And the American Childhood Cancer Organization Ford Mustang pace car gets down and out of the way. Corey Henry in control of the field. They round out of 4 for the first time off of a caution flag tonight. Green flag flies, back underway we go at a very tight restart for everybody as they go at that restart box outside again. Pulls the truck length advantage, trying to, at a big bobble for the 12 when he gets inside. Could that give it to Peterson? It will on the top side, new race leader.
Great battle here. It's the 88 of Jorgensen. Gets into the wall off of turn number 2. That's going to slow him up. A couple guys get by. Chaburko gets by. Now here comes Tanner on the inside. He's not going to make it happen this time. He's going to slide back up in line. Now the top 10 about single file now. A great battle right now. But the 88 again in the wall off of turn 2.
Jorgensen came down pit road, made contact with the 088 truck of Kent Connolly. We believe he used his quick fix, new race truck back out there. Doesn't make things that much easier, though. The fresher tires just means you can get a little bit more speed out of it, but the difficulty by no means take it out of that. Race lead separated by 0.2 of a second. Good battle, though. Third, fourth, and throw second into the mix as well. That 12 truck slowing. Chaburko on the attack. Does he make a move?
I expect Chaburko to go to the inside here off of 2 or going into 3. As you look, the 12's got damage to his right side, the 88's got damage to his right side. Obviously, everybody's hit the wall to start with off this caution. So I look for the 24 and the 3 definitely to head towards the front as Josh Hanner makes to the inside of the 88 truck going into turn number 3. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to get it done coming off of 4. It might have been a little preemptive move. But it looks like a little bit of damage to start this run.
24 went to the bottom, and as you said, wasn't able to do it. Falls back and will remain in 5th on track right now. Keeps him up in front of Rodney Wofford. He sits 6th, but still behind Mark Jorgensen Jr. in 4th. Christian Peterson, loving a view from behind again. The 12 truck damage from earlier on in this race. The AMD Gaming Evolved Chevrolet is in the race lead, but Brandon Chaburko, the big thing is that 3 truck trying to get up to Corey Henry, who in which is trying to chase down Peterson. But guys, Peterson, Leaving the field, the Skyline Motorsports Chevy again wasn't able to lead more than 5 laps after sitting on pole. He's enjoying the battles for second, third on back, because the more they fight, the more he can grow a gap, which could be big if we see a green flag run like we did earlier. If the 71 does not necessarily have the machine on the long run that his other competitors, you want to take advantage of this restart and that fresh rubber. Don't overdrive the truck, Andy, but definitely try to get as much as you can out of it, and that's what he's doing. 3/10 more to the positive that time for race leader Christian Peterson.
Yeah, as a leader like this, as you're pulling away because the guys behind you are battling hard for position, you just got to be smart with your driving. You got to go in. It's real easy to overdrive your truck when you're all by yourself. As we look for a battle right now for second, here is Jorgensen now to the inside of Corey Henry down the front straightaway. Now Corey Henry, the smart move, back off, let him go. He does that, falls back in the line, gets his momentum back going. But you really got to just, it's all about patience here. Even as a leader, you just got to watch your gap, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And if only drive as hard as you need to maintain that. The more you drive, overdriving into these corners, the more you're going to scrub off these tires, the worse you're going to be on the longer run. And before you know it, especially at this place, these guys will catch you real quick.
Almost an interesting moment down the back straightaway the last time around. Corey Henry sits in third. Caution flag, though, going to fly at lap number 55. Will slow things down. Big trouble in the front straightaway. Still wrecking. More contact. The 18 of Jimmy Todd. He'll hit the stationary number 36 of Sean Turner. Caution flag will fly for the second time in the Southern 200. Sean Turner, though, an innocent victim of problems between the 32 and the 78 truck. The start of all of this. Take a look at Sean Turner up on the outside of the racetrack. Gets too tight. The 89, again, we see Matt Quick on the inside in 3 and 4. Quick got into somebody already on the side-by-side, so 78 felt a little bit punched up there up top. Tried the checkup. Seth the Merchant gets into the back of him, so Tony Fenn goes hard into the wall. Sean Turner hard into the wall, guys, for about the third, fourth time tonight. But big news in all of that is your championship leader, Seth the Merchant. He not only got hit by Turner, but absolutely plowed. Look at that 75 of Josue Ramirez. Hit the 32, go a flipping upside down and over the pit lane wall down to where all of those stalls are located.
Yeah, that was a crazy wreck. I was watching, and it just looked like Seth the Merchant, unfortunately, had nowhere to go. And, that really is not going to be a good night for the points leader. He already used his quick fix earlier, as we discussed, after he hit the wall multiple times and just had a very loose truck. So now, Evan, I don't know. I think he's going to have some lengthy repairs, and his might be done.
And that 75 machine, Andy, he went to the outside of the racetrack to avoid Sean Turner, and when he did that, had nowhere to go, and he plowed into DeMerchant. DeMerchant got involved in 3 other people's messes. Tony Fenn got into the wall in front of him, he hit the back of him, and then DeMerchant got hit 2 more times by other trucks. Yeah,
that's just for our points there, what a tough break for him. You come into a place like this, you just want to survive. He didn't. Unfortunate, bad racing luck, if you want to call it. Wrong place at the wrong time. It can happen quickly here, and it's something you didn't want to see. But it looks like if he's unable to continue on here, it's going to be a tough night in the points as well as the track.
Brandon Chiburko will stay out to take the race lead. Christian Peterson leads the race off of pit road with 4 tires and fuel. We'll step away for a quick moment. We'll be back for the restart from Darlington.
in the outside, contact made, 56 slides it at a 4, who's gonna be into stripe, dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Lights are out on top of the pace car. The field rounding through quarters number 1 and 2, getting set for a restart in this race. Lap number 59 going to be into the books when we come by the start-finish line, and that's going to leave us with lap number 60 and 32 laps to go. Andy, we almost went the first full half of that race caution-free, and now it might be hard to get out of this string of yellows. Cautions breed cautions, especially at the track too tough to tame.
Yeah, it does. Plus, it's getting down to crunch time. A lot of these guys battling hard. Some guys seeing that the points leader just had some issues, so a chance to gain some points on the leader. So it's go time when you're this close, this packed up with everybody. Now's your chance to get around some guys and gain some points.
Seth the Merchant officially out of this race at 18th. I can guarantee you that's going to be one of his 3 drops on the year. Pace car down and away, though. Green flag flies back and away we go. Brandon Chaburko stays out to the race lead. Everybody else on 4 fresh tires. Josh, the 3, would really like to get cleared. A good start, and he does. He'll get him in front of the 71 and 2.
Yeah, he did. He's got a great run off at 2 right now. The 71 is right on his bumper. Looking low here going into turn 3. I don't think he's going to look there quite yet. Now, we had a report that Brandon did not pit. Actually, he did come down and take 2 right side tires on that pit stop as Christian Peterson goes around. He's in the wall. There we go. He's falling back. Brandon Chaburko having some problems on the outside there, getting into turn number 4 wall. And Christian Peterson looks to take over the lead as Chaburko steadily fall back.
The 3 came down, 2 right side tires, and the lettering on those Goodyear Eagles on the right side now gone after Chaburko found the fence. Rather big of a hit as well. Peterson makes the move to the top spot. Rodney Wofford gets through. How about Rodney Wofford? A bit about a 6th or 7th place truck all night long. 2nd on the leaderboards. 0.6 of a second behind the race leader inside of the final 30 laps to go in this race. Chaburko hit the fence, and I guess good news for him is that, well, when everybody else caught him, it was into the corner, so they all checked up, and that has really spread things out for your race leaders. Really a big gaggle of cars, though, 6th through 8th position. Josh Hanner is in front of it all. Rod Flag in 7th. Under attack, the 7 of Anthony Yankello. Try to make something move on the inside of 3 and 4. Not that time, and now the number 79 gets a quick tap from Chris Passini from behind. Passini riding in 8th spot right now in the Shell Pennzoil Chevrolet, down 3 spots from where he started in 6th.
Yeah, Passini just trying to, most of these guys probably trying to survive right now, get a decent finish that they can out of the night. Unless you're up in the front right now, it's so tough to pass here. We've seen it all night. Guys try to drop down to the bottom to get a run. You end up getting loose, end up getting tight. Got to push up into the guy that's on the outside of you here as we actually look for a battle right now with Josh Hanner. He just makes his way around. Yeah, it looks like the 92 got in the wall right there. That's the 92 of Ron Minton. He got in some trouble right there, and that's going to cost Hanner actually a position, as it looks like I can't even see the number on that truck, but it looks like he's at that Rod Flag right there that was able to get around him. So trouble right there. Just one little mistake by a lap cost you a couple spots.
Your Rod Minton lap truck probably trying to get out of the way, but it's very difficult to just give somebody more room. But a corner caught the fence, as you said. Rod Flang get a hopscotch over the number 24 of Josh Hanner. Hanner goes to 7th while completing that pass on the lap truck. Rod Flang get a bump up to 6th, still trying to get back to where he started in the 10th position on track. Rodney Wofford started 10th. He sits second right now, one of the biggest movers in this race, up 8 spots. However, the interval continues to move the wrong direction if you're cheering for the Race Fan Racing Incorporated Chevrolet. 1.4 seconds and growing between him and Christian Peterson, who leads this race in the 71 machine. Looked like the 71 just didn't have the drive to do it after giving up the race lead early, but maybe that calm, cool, collected, methodical approach of not putting up a fight for it when it wasn't necessary and saving that truck for now may have been the right decision. This 21 machine back to back there, but the 71 Christian Peterson rather leading and pulling away from Wofford, Henry, Chiburko, and Jorgensen through company. I'll tell you what though, Chiburko, Jorgensen, that could be a good battle on track. They are fudded right now, 4th, 5th as well. Rod Flag right in the mix as well. Those are 3 drivers within 0.4 of a second of each other.
Yeah, I definitely look to see Brandon probably move out of the way for Mark Jorgensen here in the next couple laps. He just let Corey Henry go by about 2 laps ago. I think he's got a lot of damage from hitting that wall of 4 a couple of laps ago, right after the beginning of the race, or beginning of the after caution. You know, Josh Hanner was just able to pass Rod Flag coming back up through the field, down up into the 6th position. You know, we got about 22 laps to the end of the race, Evan. I know it's tough to put you on the spot here, but who do you think you're going to take for the win tonight?
I'll repeat what I said a minute ago. I don't think Christian Peterson had the drive about 10 laps in, but maybe that 71 had the right strategy. I'll tell you what, 1.6 seconds out in front of the field, and it's growing. What could kind of mess with that, though, is if we get a caution, and I'll knock on wood prior to that, but the 71 machine, if we get a caution, the leader's probably a sitting duck, because we saw Chiburko take 2 tires ago to the race lead. He got in the fence. Less tires, more pressure, not a good combination, but I'd have to, I like where the 71's sitting right now, because being the control car, for the most part, I think 2 out of 3 times tonight has been the place to be, down low in 1 and 2, at least on the restart to get out and be clear. But I'm liking Christian Peterson, Andy, and Josh. How about you guys?
Yeah, I think, honestly, I'm going to continue with the way I picked these out. I think the 088 of Ken Connolly's got a good chance to get this thing done tonight. You know, it's not a knock at him. I just don't want to jinx anybody because I'm horrible at that.
Yeah, we've seen that a couple of times on Friday nights.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go with the oddball. I've been talking about him all night. Josh Hanner. I think he's got a truck. He's kind of stayed out of trouble. He got to the front. He took up that whole 2.5 lead that Mark Jorgensen had on him in the first run and was able to come up to the front. And he still had another 10 laps on those tires, I think. I'm going to go with the number 24 Pepsi Chevrolet tonight to take the win.
I tell you what, Andy, just don't pick Josh Ball for the iSuperspeedway.com race later tonight, and I'm sure you guys will continue to be on speaking terms for next week's race. If Hanner's going to get the job done, though, he wants things to stay green if he's going to get those tires going, or if the tires get worked in and nobody pits, wouldn't mind a caution because he's 3.6 seconds back. He's actually behind a quick sandwich right there because Jorgensen and Chiburko, we were just talking about those 2 drivers. Jorgensen now going to go up to 4th, Chiburko to 5th, and the 24 starting to apply the pressure to the back bumper of the Good Rent Service Plus Chevrolet. A couple of throwback paint schemes in the field here tonight, just a handful of them. Saw a couple of good ones there during the warm-up session a little bit earlier on here. And Christian Peterson just continuing to pad that lead. Now 1.8 seconds to the good. I'll tell you what, though, that's a 10th slower than what it was last time by. So again, I told you, on these restarts, if they're fighting, get as much gap as you can. But again, don't overdrive the race car, the 71. You better hope you still got some tires under that thing. Still a long way to go to the end.
Hey, better hope he's got something left for that thing, especially if his caution was to come out. I think, obviously, if there was one, you got to come down and get tires unless there's 5 laps to go. Tires mean so much at this place. It's unbelievable how rough this surface is and how quickly these tires wear out. So caution comes out, you better see there's some tires. But right now, Christian Peterson maintaining that lead as the battle for second actually is starting to heat up a little bit as Corey Henry trying to make a move, trying to get up in that runner-up spot right now off of turn number 4.
Yeah, Corey Henry, a name that, got to the front of this field and, albeit it was by the virtue of where that caution flag had fallen and where he ended up on a racetrack, but as well, a little bit of strategy and all of that. And starting this race in 7th, running 3rd right now. A lot of guys you stay out, and if the caution had not fallen, Josh, he comes down pit road, he's behind a lot of guys. It was a risk staying out there on old tires for the number 12 of Corey Henry, but he got the caution, everything worked out, and the gamble paying out because right now in a podium spot, he might just want to fight for second because he's not all that far off, maybe 4 truck lengths from Rodney Wofford, who sits second.
Yeah, definitely. I think his tires definitely held up last run. As you were saying, he was out there for the longest out of everybody, and he was still on the lead lap by a good margin. Or he was the leader, so he had everybody lapped by a good margin. I think towards the end of this run, as you were saying earlier, I think Christian Peterson may begin to fall off. He fell off quickly towards the end of the run, so I'm looking to see what they are able to do towards the end of the run. Not too much different there between the leader and Rodney Wofford and Corey Henry, but I think the next 5 laps we might see something. We got about 12 laps to go, so it's going to happen quick.
And if Wofford and Henry start to fight, there it is, caution flag flies, trouble on the racetrack, hearing Brandon Chiburko, 1 truck sideways, and it is the 3 from 5th position. Brandon Chiburko, trouble at a quarter number 2, caution flag will fly, and this race just took a turn for, well, maybe the worst or the better for some. Chiburko a little bit hot down into 1 and 2, trying to hold off Josh Hanner. Hanner goes to the inside, the 3 comes down, the 1 truck nowhere to go. Chris Bassini will get into him, Andy, and then that 3 goes around on the back straightaway, hard into the inside wall. They're just going to take the shortcut from the back straightaway to the infield, not even going to try to get that car fixed. Top 5 run eliminated, and maybe a guaranteed win eliminated from Christian Peterson. Replay is going up now, but pit stops for the final time. Christian Peterson coming down.
Yeah, it looks like all the front runners coming out except for one guy staying out there. That's the 24, Josh Hanner. We saw him good on the long runs, but this might be a gutsy call right here with this many trucks coming down pit road. That's, wow. I can't believe he actually stayed out of there.
He'll stay out, and what might help his case, if anything, is if we see a lot of trucks take 2 tires. 2 tires not as good as 4, so that would mean the 24 would have some sort of a standing chance, and you might take 2 tires to try to make up some spots on pit road. Christian Peterson, the long drive down to the last stall on pit road. 88 Mark Jorgensen Jr. going to overshoot his stall. The Tracker Boat Chevy probably going to be cost some time. Christian Peterson, just 2 tires, and it looks like, guys, everybody else going with 4. Maybe a conservative call from Peterson to not lose track position, and he puts himself at a disadvantage.
Yeah, definitely, Evan. Obviously, as we were saying earlier, this is going to get real exciting now. We got about 10 laps to go. We got whole different pit strategies going on here. Hanner staying out. Got a couple people taking a wave around right now. It looks like the 71 of Christian Peterson is going to be behind him on the outside going through turn 1 and 2. I guess, Evan, the biggest thing is, do you think the 24 is going to have a good enough run to get up in front of that 71, and is those 2 tires going to help out enough to get him around, or do you think Hanner can stay out there on those old 4 tires?
Well, I think Christian Peterson, I don't think this works in favor of Josh Hanner, and I'll ask you this as well, too, and I'll throw Josh's question at you, because Christian's going to be on the outside of the front row with 2 tires. The 24 means that the truck behind him has 4 fresh tires, so that's not very helpful for him. I guess it's better than having a guy next to you with 4 tires. But Christian Peterson on the outside of the racetrack, I think 3 out of 4 times so far tonight on a restart, the inside lane on the front row has gotten the race lead through 1 and 2. Peterson has a small tire advantage. He'd like to make that 2 for 5 for the guys up top. I don't think if he can't get clear, I don't think he can do anything with Hanner, because Rodney Wofford, Shane McKeechin going to be right there on 4 tires.
Yeah, that's gosh, man, I tell you, that's a real gutsy call by Hanner. Listen, 5-6 laps to go, I could see staying out, but with this many laps, get the green flag, it'd probably be about 8 or 9 laps to go. So, man, I'll tell you, he might be able to hang on to the lead for a little bit with Peterson on the outside with just 2 tires, but the problem is that 7 truck, the 28, all those guys right behind these guys with 4 tires. That's I'll tell you what, that's a lot of muscle right there and a lot of tire. I think they might make short work of these front 2.
David Wood of Christian Peterson ducks down to the inside of the racetrack to allow the Borla exhaust Toyota Tundra of Ramona Evans to get a wave by. We double up, and well, here we go for the final time, maybe tonight. Still have enough of a buffer space for this restart. We'll come by and take lap number 83. That's going to give us 8 laps to go in this race, or so 8 or 9 laps to go. That is well enough time to see a caution. The caution, though, would have to come out before 5 or 4 laps to go. At that point, a caution flag would end this race. So I have to see how all of this works out. You have your race leader, Josh Hanner, on no tires. The outside of both row number 1 and 2, sitting on just 2 tires. The first driver on 4, Rodney Wofford, on the inside of the racetrack. He is in 3rd. Top 3, all on a different strategy call. Less than 10 laps to go at Darlington. Who takes this one? Pace car down and out of the way. Josh Hanner needs a good restart. Christian Peterson needs a good restart. This could decide this one. At a quarter number 4, green flag flies back underway. The Southern 200 racing to the checkered flag. 3 wide for the race lead. Check up down low. Wofford has to get on the brakes. They'll get hit from behind by the 12th car. Peterson to second.
Smart move by Wofford right there. Is now Peterson looking for that lead off of turn number 2. Here he comes out side by side, door to door with
Reckon.
for a Hanner.
Big wreck behind them. They race for the race lead down to 3. Things gonna stay clean though up front. No caution as cars into the inside wall at the back of the pack. Josh Hanner would have liked a caution flag because the 71 of Peterson gonna make the move in 3 and 4. And new race leader that time, completing lap 83. The 7, Rodney Wofford not catching a break either, Josh. 4 tires, he can't find a way through. Hanner's hard into the outside wall.
Craziness all over the track. The 12, the 7, it looks like they're going to challenge the 71 for the lead. There's only about 6 laps left. Can they make it up to the front and challenge him for the win?
The wreck at the back of the pack again does not yield a caution flag. The major impact in the truck that had the brunt of that one on the inside wall down on the apron, not interfering with the racing surface. Things stay green up front. Christian Peterson, 0.3 of a second over Corey Henry. Could Corey Henry win this race in the 12? Here comes that 7 of Wofford on 4 tires, but he knows time is running out, and you can see really throwing it into the corners.
Now he's throwing it in the corners, but again, not a lot of time left, but you got to be patient here. You do have the faster truck. You got the 4 tires. You're going to make ground on these on the leader right now, Christian Peterson. The lead is not growing. The 12 is actually making this thing shrink right now. You can visually see it on the screen right now as they run. You just got to be patient as a driver, and I know as a driver at 12 right now, Corey Henry's got to be thinking, oh man, I got this, I'm catching the leader. But he's just still got to stay in that rhythm, stay in that groove, and not make any mistakes.
The gap goes from 3 to just 0.2 of a second. Both Corey Henry and Rodney Wofford closing in on Christian Peterson. This time by lap 87, going to be down and away. 4 laps to go. This race will now end. If we do see a caution flag, what you get is what you got. Corey Henry close it in. Can he get the job done? Race leader into the outside wall at a 4 that will continue to shrink the gap in turn 1.
Man, the 7 and the 12 are going to be right on the back bumper to 71 here, coming to 2 laps to go next time by. I don't know if they're going to be able to get around them. That's the hardest part of this track. It's passing people. So I don't know if it may take a slide job. There might be some contact saying, hey, get out of the way. I'm quicker than you. But it's going to come down for the race win as we come down to 2 laps to go here.
Andy, I don't think we'll see Christian Peterson give it up this time like he did on the first lap of the race. To the inside goes the 12 of Corey Henry. That door going to be shut. Not quite at 3 to go.
That's right, 3 laps to go. Make that 2.5 now as they come off turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Corey Henry has the run now, looks to the inside, gets the nose of the truck there. Lap traffic right in front of him, kind of sets the pick, really dives it into the corner, kind of pushes up the lap traffic. Here comes Christian Peterson back to the inside. They're side by side for the lead at the line.
The 12 truck pinned up against the outside wall. Less than 3 miles to go. Peterson gonna hang on. Can Wofford get second? Corey Henry in the wall, second and third. Spinning in 1 and 2. Up the racetrack. Big wreck. Mark Jorgensen Jr. involved. Second, third, and fourth will not make it through quarters number 1 and 2. Caution flag will fly. And Christian Peterson will take the white and the yellow together, this time by to the win in the Southern 200. I'm going to take a look at the replay back on this one. Big contact between those drivers. First off, that battle out of turn number 4, the 12 tried to make something work, Andy. Ended up on the outside of the racetrack after, again, using that lap car as a pit, which is something that I said we might see earlier on in this race. They put the 83 in the wall trying to do it, and the 71 machine, right spot to the inside of the racetrack. Watford goes up the hill, the 12 catches the fence, they wreck. Christian Peterson out in front of it all.
Woo! That was crazy. There was blocking, there was in the wall, there was 3 wide, everything there, Evan. And Christian Peterson's going to come down and take the win here. You know, my surprise is Shane McEachin once again makes it through the wreck and finishes second.
So the 71 this time by going to come and take the checkered flag. How about this? 3 races and 3 different race winners. Checkered flag, the Southern 200 with the checker and the yellow together goes to your pole sitter, Christian Peterson. Shane McEachin, as you mentioned, Josh, will go up to second at the end, but as well 15th to second from the start to the end of this one. That's a gain of 13 spots to take the second step on the podium. And Anthony Yancalo, how about that? The 79, a quiet drive, which in the end may have been the best thing for him to do, comes home in third as his teammate takes home the win. We'll talk to a lot of Skyline Motorsports coming up in our post-race show. Some other big movers in this one. Daniel Ferguson goes 23rd to 6th, 22nd to 7th. For Ray Rittenauer with the second to 25 to 87. All have good runs tonight, but another first-time winner. 3 in and 3 different people have gone to victory lane, and a big shake-up in the RodDCar Truck Tour points, I would expect, outside of the Lady in Black. We're going to step away one final time on LSRTV. Come back for the post-race show from Darlington, South Carolina. You're watching LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks and terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. I'm proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, and it's what I do best.
Back live at the virtual Darlington Raceway in Darlington, South Carolina. The Southern 200 for the RodDCar Truck Tour is in the books. At 3 races in, we have our third different winner. Christian Peterson, guys, taking this one home in exciting and thrilling fashion on a late race restart. Reckon coming to the white flag down in turns number 1 and 2. Peterson sits atop the podium. Shane McEachin second, and Anthony Yankello comes home in third. Going to talk to all of our podium finishers as we welcome you into the LSRTV post-race show, getting set to put a bow on part 1 of our Friday night LSRTV doubleheader, the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series, coming up in just about 45 minutes or so in time, but time to get this race recapped here from Darlington. Gonna pass the mic over to Josh Ball. Josh, you've caught up in the pit lane with the driver who comes home third in this one, Anthony Yankello. You're standing by with him.
Yes, I've caught up with Anthony down here. P3, tell me about your night, Anthony. I saw you were starting 9th on that last caution. What was going through your head? I saw you took 4 tires, made it up to 3rd. Tell me about your night.
Well, not very good at Darlington to begin with, so I was just trying to hope to get a top 10 or something. And cautions kind of just fell my way. Seemed like on the long runs, like I got really, really loose, lost a ton of time. But the way the cautions fell, I was pretty good on the short run. I think I was running like P6 there towards the end. Had a nice battle with Chris Bassini and got around him, and then there was a wreck at the end. Got like, I think 3 spots out of that and got my first podium.
Well, congratulations there, sir. Another question. This is the first race we've had on this new tire model and track surface. How was it out there? I know the first run was a long green flag. How was your truck during the first run?
During the first run, it was good at the beginning, but like I said, it got real loose after like 20, 25 laps or something like that. But I didn't really even get that many laps in practice running a long run. I kept wrecking before 10 laps, so I didn't know. I was kind of in uncharted waters there, but yeah, got loose towards the end of a long run, but on the short run, it was pretty good. I kind of like the new tire model. New tire model is pretty cool.
That's awesome. I'm glad we got you a top 3 tonight. Good podium finish. Is there anybody you'd like to thank, any sponsor shout-outs, or anybody out there that you just want to say hi to?
I just want to thank my teammates at Wicked Auto Sports, Seth the Merchant and Christian Peterson. They kind of trained me, taught me a lot about this track the last couple of days, and Mark Wallace came in and did some final touches on the setup tonight. And I just want to thank Rod for putting on the league, and Preston Pardis and P32 Designs for doing all my paints, and that's about it.
All right. Thank you, Anthony. Driver the number 79, Skyline Chevy. I'm going to send it over to Anthony, which is caught up with our second place finisher, Shane McEachin.
Yeah, that's right. I'm down here with our second place finisher, Shane McEachin. Shane, a couple weeks ago at Atlanta. You come here to Darlington, kind of a mid-pack guy all race long. But here at the end, you were able to dodge all them trucks. Made some pretty evasive moves there in turn number 2 to get around those guys, and you end up coming home with a second place finish tonight.
Yeah, I think saying we were mid-pack is being very generous. This is not one of our good tracks, and I almost thought we had a repeat of Atlanta. I saw the smoke and the trucks, and first thing made sure I got through it, and then looked to see if it got all of them. But there was one left out there. I mean, we didn't have any business up there. We just got lucky, but we'll take it.
Well, this early in the season, when there's no chase involved, it's all about consistency. It's all about finishes. You're starting off here in a pretty good spot here with top 2 finishes in the first 3 races. Going on with momentum, talking about momentum and going into race to race, does these good finishes back to back like this, especially at a track like you were saying, struggling at all night long, then you come out here you end up with a second place finish. You got to kind of ride that momentum pretty high moving on, don't you?
Yeah, we definitely got to take advantage of this. We can't you know, we need to put a little more time in and, um, you know, like I said, take advantage of it. We can't just. This is probably one of our worst tracks we will see, and you know, we got lucky. We got a P2 out of it. So yeah, like we definitely need to, you know, stay with the momentum. Don't take it for granted.
That's right. One of your worst tracks, one of your better finishes of the season so far. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to tonight for getting you this top finish?
LSRTV and RodddCarr. I mean, those are the guys. You know, y'all making it happen for us, and we appreciate it.
Well, there you have it. Driver the number 28 Texaco Havoline Toyota Tundra out there is Shane Machichin, and I believe Evan, you've caught up with our winner down there in Gatorade Victory Lane.
If you knew it was good for him, it'd be a Chevy, but the Toyota Tundra comes home in second. Christian Peterson, your race winner tonight in a Chevrolet, takes home the win in the Southern 200, and obviously excited for this one. 3 races in, and we do have 3 different winners now. Christian Peterson, your race winner. Christian, first off, congratulations. You started this race up front, and although you probably would have liked to lead it the whole way, it wasn't quite that easy. Led the opening 5 laps, gave up the race lead, and when you had a challenge there with about 5 laps to go, I said, I don't think you'll pull over for this one. How'd you hold him off there at the end?
Yeah, I mean, I took 2 tires on that restart, or on that last caution. I think that kind of hurt me a little bit. I don't think they would have been able to get to me if I took 4, but can't always play the strategy perfect, so that lap car really set it up perfect. He used me as a pick. I crossed them both up, and then they ended up getting together in turn 1 and 2. It really played out perfect. I was just kind of, as long as I didn't get in 3 wide contact with those guys in 3 and 4, I was pretty good.
Start up front, you finish up front. First race for us in a while. Again, you guys had an off week for Labor Day weekend. Trucks haven't been in action for 2 weeks prior to that as well, because we saw some IROC action 2 Fridays ago. So you come into this, and things are quite different in the sim. New tires, and as well the dynamic racetracks as well. How much, if any, of that did you feel out there tonight?
First run, I felt it like crazy. I don't know if I had too much tape on the truck, because it started to get a little bit over 250, started creeping up towards 260, so I started backing it off, and then all of a sudden around like lap 25 of the first run, the thing just went to junk. I was sliding. I couldn't keep the thing under me. So made some tire pressure changes, and that left rear wedge change came into play too. Cranked that up a little bit. It seemed to keep the truck stable. And but I mean, that first run, the track got so hot and it was so slick. It was really cool. It was really fun to drive.
And now 3 races in, you do have 3 drop weeks to use on the series, but with it being your second top 5 and your first win on the year, I have a good feeling you're not going to need to use that tonight. But as well, now you look forward, 3 different winners. Now you're one of them, 2 top 5s. You guys obviously have to be satisfied with your performance so far. The big thing is now, that performance needs to stay consistent for the now 12 races to go after tonight if you guys want to stay in that conversation for the championship. No off weeks for quite some time. I think we're almost going a handful of 7 or 8 weeks without an off week. So we're right back at it in 1 week's time. We're going to be under the lights at Charlotte Motor Speedway. You confident that you guys can, if not at least get another top 5 there, be as fast as you were tonight and challenge for a race win?
Yeah, I think so. To be honest, I didn't think we had a truck to win tonight. I couldn't complete more than 5 laps in a practice without destroying the right front in turn 3. In the beginning of the race, I just kind of kept it clean and was trying to make it to the end, and it worked out. But as long as everybody on Wicked, Seth, Yanks, everybody that puts in the work on the sets, we keep working hard, you should be all right. And I got to give a shout out to Anthony Ankello. He did a hell of a job getting through. He doesn't really like Darlington, but he pulled it out tonight.
Well, you tamed the lady in the black tonight. You go on to pick up the race win, and going to help you guys out very much so in the championship standings. A lot of the guys in front of you in the points entering tonight had some rough finishes, including points leader into this race, Seth the Merchant, who comes home in 20th. You mentioned a couple of names. We'll give you one more opportunity, Christian. Sponsors and shout-outs, all of those good people. Who do you want to thank for this race win?
Just everybody at Wicked, you guys up in the booth. Obviously, Rod, all the admins at iSuper Speedway League. P Money Designs, Preston Partis. He does a hell of a job on the paint schemes. And yeah, that's about it.
All right, well, again, big congratulations. You win at Darlington, and you did it in quite dramatic fashion. I'm sure you'll enjoy going back and looking at that one. It was fun for us to call from up here. Best of luck later on, and we'll see you next Friday at Charlotte.
All right, thanks, guys.
Again, your race winner tonight, piloting the number 71. P1 at the start, P1 at the end, guys. Hell of a race, though, as he said, Darlington, we come to expect it. And something we said earlier is that Darlington is very difficult because everything was calm at the beginning, and maybe that gave us a false sense of security. That end of that race was absolutely crazy. And, okay, we were 1 lap short for making it on green, but those top 3 were putting on a great show in those final 5 laps.
Oh, they were doing a great job. At the beginning of the race, I think it was calm because these guys wanted to survive. They wanted to save their stuff, save their vehicles, save their reset, save their tires. A whole lot of saving going on early on. So we saw a lot of green flag racing. And then towards the end, guys, it's go time. It's time to get up there, see what your truck's got. They kind of figured out what they had on short runs and long runs. And some of these guys were a lot better on the short runs. So when you get towards the end, they really want to go and really want to show their stuff towards the end. And then you see guys like Hanner that ended up staying out because he was better on the long run and did a good job staying up front for a while. But the fresher tires got the best of him. He got in the wall, and so he had a tough break there. But overall, I thought it was a fantastic race. The trucks always put on good racing, and a track like this, it's exactly the same.
And Josh, I'll turn to you as well. We got to get headed out to Talladega, Alabama here for just about a half hour away from part 2 on our Friday night doubleheader. Before we do so, your final thoughts as well on this Southern 200?
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting night. We definitely had a lot of green flag laps to start with, and then a lot of caution flag laps to end with. Definitely a lot of different strategy out there, as Anthony and Kelly was pointing out. Definitely a lot looser towards the end of the runs. Seemed like a lot of cars were loose the whole time, as the points leader, Seth the Merchant, had a bad night and crashed out, unfortunately. But, thankfully, you knocking on wood did not jinx Christian Peterson. He was able to come home with the win after you picked him to win.
Only Andy does that. I'm good.
Yeah, exactly. So he was able to, pull it out there somehow. After that turn 3 and 4, almost 3 wide lap car block, somehow he was able to keep it out there, pass the number 12 again, and get the win.
And so he did 3 winners and in 3 just races. So 3 down, 12 to go to decide this inaugural RodDCar Truck Tour champion on this 2015 racing calendar. And that continues, as we said when I talked to Christian Peterson. A lot of these guys enjoyed last Friday off. Well, we got about 8 weeks in a row, I think, before we get our next Friday off. LSRTV going to be the place to catch all of that. Going to wrap things up, though, here from the Darlington Raceway, part 2 of our doubleheader. Going to be getting underway in just a couple of moments. If you want more information on the RodDCar Truck Tour, you can go to trucktour.roddcarr.com. As well, you can go to iSuperspeedway.com for more information. You can follow them on Twitter at iSuperspeedway, or as well on social media, facebook.com/iSuperspeedway. Do want to thank the RodDCar Board of Directors, Rod Flag, Frank Musilia, Josh Hanner, and all of the drivers on the General Council. And again, the next race for this truck tour going to be next Friday evening at 8 o'clock Eastern on LSRTV from NASCAR's backyard at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. You can stay up to date with everything LSRTV online at livesimracing.com, but on Facebook at facebook.com/livesimracingtv. Post-race recaps, news, and other press can be found through our partners at Race Chaser Online or at iRacing News. Big congratulations again to Christian Peterson, your winner of the Southern 200 from Darlington. Until next time, on behalf of the LSRTV broadcast crew, for myself, Evan Pasoko, Andy Kessler, Josh Ball, and our executive producer, Laura Lawson, thank you so much for tuning in. Part 2 of our doubleheader just about a half hour away. We'll see you for the FDNY NYPD Never Forget Classic from Talladega. The first time we'll see the B and A main format implemented in this most recent iSuperspeedway RodddCar Racing Series Championship. Until then, though, good night from Darlington. This has been LSRTV, the voice of sim racing.